Hey, what's up, everybody? What's good? What's going on? I couldn't wait to get home and talk to you guys about what happened today with Keyshawn Davis. Oh man. But we're gonna get into that, man. Please, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. All right. Please hit that thumbs up. I feel like I'm not getting enough love when it comes to the like button, man. Y'all been like really sleeping on me with the like button. But please hit the thumbs up. If you guys are just checking in, do me that favor. Just hit the thumbs up real quick. Also, we have a ton of fights this weekend. I'm gonna be covering the Justin Huni. Sorry, I'm just trying to adjust this light. Justin Huni and Fabio Wardley is going to be fighting tomorrow in the afternoon, okay, on the zone. I will be on there first. All right. I'm probably not going to cover the entire card. I'm definitely not going to cover the entire card because I have the card to do later with Keyshawn. I'm going to cover that entire card. So I will probably get on co-main event-ish, like maybe a fight or two right before the main event, because I actually think that could be a good fight. So I'm gonna do a quick breakdown for that fight in this live, and also Sunday, early Sunday morning, right? The following morning after Keyshawn's fight on ESPN, we got Nishida against Nakatani, okay, down at 118. This is going to be a unification. I'm also going to talk a little bit about that fight as well on this live before we get to the Keyshawn stuff. And then we'll have a lot of time to talk about that because there's just so much I want to say about that fight right there. I mean, this whole weigh-in thing is it's a mess. I don't really go on X and Twitter that much, but I did have to go on there a little bit today and drop a couple tweets because it's just really scary stuff. Really scary stuff. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat though. Beth Animal, David, Romeo, Roland Curtis, Gio, Raul, Pepino, AO. Shout out to everyone that's here in the chat, man. I appreciate you. Again, please hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe if you are new. Donate information. If you donate the Cash App. You could donate on here, whatever you're comfortable with. Appreciate the support. And let's get into it. All right, I'm gonna start out real quick. Tomorrow's fight on the zone: Fabio Wardley, Justice Huni. Fight that came out of nowhere. All right, Fab was supposed to be fighting Gerald Miller. Gerald Miller pulled out of the fight for whatever reason, and now that fight was off. Justice Huni came in. Now, when I first heard about this, I was like, because I haven't been watching Justice Huni that long. I've been watching him for the past year and a half because he's been on the undercard of a lot of cards that I've watched live. So I'm familiar with him, but I've never been able to like do a breakdown for one of his fights. This is the first time I'm actually talking about one of his fights. It's because he's fighting Fabio Wardley, a fighter that I've done several breakdowns for up to this point. So when I first heard, I was like, I thought it was kind of weird because I'm like, I feel like that's too soon for Justice Huni. You know what I mean? And I know he fought Kevin Lerena. I know he fought Andrew Tabiti. And I've seen a couple of his fights outside of those two. I've seen a couple of fights because, like I said, he's been on the undercards of other cards that I've had to go live for. So I've been seeing him, and I think he looks impressive. But I still feel like I believe that he's kind of on a level of some of the guys that I've seen Fabio Wardley fight. I'm not really sure. Now, the Kevin Lerena fight win is pretty impressive, even though he got hurt a few times in that fight. But it's a good win. It's a good win to have because we already know what Lerena did to the Triple D in that fight. Lerena got crazy power. Southpaw, big power. He's always hurting these guys early. I mean, he hurt Huni in the fight late too. But at the end of the day, like, he just can't really put these guys away, right? But Justice is good. I think he's a good boxer. I think he's a better boxer than Wardley, but Wardley has fought a few fighters already that I thought could outbox him, and it didn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like, I think the first breakdown I ever done with Fabio Wardley is when he was fighting Nate Gorman, because that was a big step up for him at that time, right? And Gorman was, I had to do a breakdown for him in Triple D like some years back, because at that time Gorman was a step up for Triple D. You know what I mean? And everybody felt like the same thing, like Triple D got power, but Gorman's a better boxer. You know what I mean? Or this guy Fabio Wardley has power, but Gorman's a better boxer. So we've been here with Fabio Wardley fighting guys that boxes better than him. David Adelaide, questionable as far as boxing better, but Fraser Clark to me was a better boxer too going into that fight. But Wardley, split decision, draw in the first fight, knocks him out in the first round in the second fight. Wardley is going to get outboxed. But who can actually beat him? I think Wardley can be beaten on points. I think he can. He almost did against Clark. I was there that night. You guys know I went to that fight out in the UK. And I want to say the majority of people thought it was a draw, or they thought Clark edged it. The majority of people. But look, at the end of the day, man, yeah, David just made a comment. I just saw your comment real quick. He said Huni's been getting dropped. Yeah. You know what? I don't like that. That's just coming out, because it's changing the way we look at these fighters. It's these sparring videos and the timing of them dropping. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I seen the one he got dropped. One of the ones that he got dropped in, and I was like, damn, that's a bad look to post this out right now, to put this out right now. But I don't make all my breakdowns based on sparring footage. You know what I'm saying? I rarely ever really take sparring footage or use amateur fights to do my breakdown. Sometimes I do. Like Justice Huni, I did watch some of his amateur fights, because when you look up his videos, he's fighting guys that we are familiar. All of the guys that's currently prospects or just newer, fresher contenders, he fought the majority of them in the amateurs and the Olympics and stuff like that. So I seen that his videos are out. I seen some of his pro fights. I do think he's a better boxer than Fabio Wardley, but is that going to be enough? Can he go the 12 rounds or the 10 rounds or whatever, how many rounds this fight is going to be? Can he go to 12 rounds with Fabio Wardley, right, and outbox him? Now, I think that if he can, I don't want to say the word survive, right, but if he plays it smart, right, and he boxes and he's defensive, while still letting his hands go, because we don't want the guy to just run, and I'm not expecting him to do that. In fact, I don't even think he's that kind of fighter. I think he does box well. I think he's decent defensively. I don't think he has a great chin, but if you're getting knocked around by Kevin Lerena, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing neither. But what I'm saying is, Justice Huni is not like gun shy. I've seen him in these fights where he's letting his hands go. He's getting in these exchanges. He's not like no super duper safe fighter. So with that being said, like, I really don't know. Like, I feel like if he has to fight nearly a perfect fight. And I think the longer the fight goes, especially if it goes into the second half, and if we're in a situation where Wardley starts to slow down like he did in the first Clark fight. Now, I know his nose was broken in that fight. Like, his nose was crazy. He was bleeding all over the place, So I'm sure that affected his stamina. But I think that if Justice Huni can box, play it smart, pick his spots, you know what I mean? This hot shot a little bit here and there. Don't go crazy with the combinations, use that range. I think if he can do that and be consistent, but still being mindful, I think him surviving that Kevin Lerena fight in winning that fight on points, even though he was rocked several times in that fight. I think if he can survive that fight, if he can, you know what I'm saying? Like if he can, if he can just box and not get, I'm gonna basically say, I'm gonna end it with this because I don't want to go too deep. If the dude can box and survive, right? Because Wardley, we already know what he does. He gets angry. He's ragey. You know, you beating him up, if you tagging him a little too much, he's gonna go nuts, right? And he's gonna try to knock you out. That's good. It's helped them in certain situations, like Nate Gorman, you know what I mean? But if you can box and continue boxing them and don't get hit with nothing crazy, draw it out a little bit, you can beat him on points. I just don't know if Huni is going to do it. And I'm actually still surprised that this is like a replacement for Fabio Wardley, because I feel like Wardley is like right there. He's so close to getting that super big fight. You know what I'm saying? Like close to, you know, a championship level, close to like a championship level type of fight. Justice to me, it's not really there. And outside of Lorena, there's not really any good names on his resume. You know, Lorena's a good name, but it's not like no automatic like top tier fight. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't know, man. I'm going with Wardley by KO because I think even if Huni is outboxing him and he's scoring and he's winning rounds, I think Wardley is just like, yo, it's just one shot away from just knocking you out. Only takes one. You know, he has power like that kind of power, especially at this level. And we already know that Huni has been hurt by other punchers. You know what I'm saying? So I think Huni wins on points. Wardley wins by knockout. And I'm going to go with Wardley winning by knockout. I think those are the two options. And I think if we're going to get either one, I'm going to bet more on Wardley. Actually, I already threw this in a parlay. I got Wardley winning by knockout. Just my opinion. Let me read some of the comments. I don't know. Ayo says, I don't know if Huni can keep Wardley off him for 12 rounds. Since Huni's going to have his hands full with this one, yeah. David says, I reckon Huni probably starts well and takes early rounds, but gets KO between round 5 and 8. That sounds realistic. That sounds realistic to me. That's kind of where I'm rolling. You know, I feel like Huni can win, but he got to fight a nearly perfect fight. You know, DGO said, what is disappointment with Keyshawn? What a disappointment with Keyshawn. He was my last hope at lightweight. I just hope he's now on the juice because he's a little more yappy than usual. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, man, I always say this, man. Like, I don't think it would ever happen with Abdullah Mason, because I think, you know, the way him and his family and his father, his pops, you know, is with him. I think he's really disciplined. You know what I'm saying? He's very humble. Keyshawn has always been a talker, though, you know, and he talks on social media too. So I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing that he talks. But the weight thing, you know, I am disappointed about that. But we'll talk more about that shortly. All right. Do I think Wardley beats Moses right now? I don't know. That's a good ass question, man, because I think Wardley can knock, you know, a lot of these guys out. But I think Moses is probably a better boxer. I think he's a little quicker and he has pop too. I just don't know where his chin is at. We might not know where his chin is at, but I think Moses, I'll say this, I think Moses is more impressive than Huni. You know what I mean? I think he is right now, you know, but we'll wait and see. All right, real quick, before we get to Keyshawn, Nishida. Nishida and Nakatani. They fight Sunday morning, early in the morning. This is a fight that I did a video on not too long ago. I didn't do like a breakdown video, but I did break it down a little bit in that video. And after doing a little bit of film study the last few days on these two, I come to the conclusion, like I said in the other video, like I just think that they are very, very similar style-wise. They are tall, they are rangy, they are lanky guys at 118. They're tall and lanky for the division. Nakatani's a little taller, got arms are a little bit longer, has more power. And to be honest, I think he does everything that Nishida does, but better. I mean, I can't really break it down any more better than that. I think for two guys that matches like styles, Nakatani has every advantage though. You get what I'm saying? Like they both do the same things well. But when you go from one fight to the other, when I look at Nishida's fights, I see the guy improving. He got 10 fights, right? 2 knockouts. I see the improvement with each fight. I see it, especially in his most recent fight. If you look at like the last 2 or 3 fights of his, like last 2, and you look at fights from like 7 fights ago, you're going to see that he's a work in progress. The last 2 fights, he looks very, very impressive though. His style matches. He might be, I said this in the other video, I think these 2 are my top 2 guys at 118. I know we got the other 2 champions. I think these 2 are probably the best 2 fighters because they're tall, they're rangy, they're both southpaws. Nishida don't have the power like that. But I think when I watch Nishida fight, he's a guy early on, lead hand, everything he's doing with the lead hand, the shift, straight left, boom. As each round goes on, then he starts coming in a little bit more. Now he's throwing to the body a little bit more. Now he's throwing uppercuts. Now he's staying in the pocket, throwing combinations a little bit more. The problem is Nakatani does all of that and more. And he does it better. And he does it with way more power. So I think the question is for me, and I didn't put no money, I think this is the only thing I ain't touched yet, is whether or not this is going to be a knockout or a decision win. Because I don't know how tough Nishida is. I just think that when it comes to that chess match type of game, I look at Nakatani, he has way more experience. I think he got probably like over 30 fights or so. Yeah, he has 30 fights. Better opposition, you know what I mean? Neither one of them has they don't really have anyone on their resumes that has the exact same style. Like there's no like real elite southpaws there that they face. So that's the one thing you got to throw in the equation too. Like how is it going to look fighting someone that fights so similar to you? But I just think that Nakatani has the experience, the height, the reach. And I think he's more of a dog too. You know what I mean? I just think that he does everything a little bit better than Nishida. And this is why I got him winning the fight. I just don't know if I'm going to go with the knockout or not, because I mean, I think most people will probably pick Nakatani by knockout. But it's like Nakatani doesn't knock every single fighter he fought out. You know what I mean? So some of his fights do go the distance. But I just think that with whatever Nishida has, he boxes really well. I can see him giving Nakatani some issues, but Nakatani is better at fighting the same style. And I think it's really all I gotta say about that, And when I was just breaking down the progress of Nishida, what Nishida was a few fights ago, Nakatani was like that years ago. Like I can go back to Nakatani and watch him 7, 8, maybe 10 fights ago, and I still think that he might be a little bit above Nishida is right now. You know what I'm saying? Just from my observation of going back and looking at some of the fights. rewatching some of his fights. I think Nakatani has proven to be an elite world fighter, and if he's not in your pound for pound, I mean, if he's in my pound for pound, he's probably around 10. But if he's not in your pound for pound, he's probably like in the top 15, if not in the top 10 or whatever. I think he's already proven that he's really top tier. And I can't wait to him in Inoue fight, at some point. You know what I'm saying? That's the fight that I really want to see with Inoue right now. Even more so than him moving up to 126. All right. But I haven't decided where I'm gonna go with the fight as far as knockout, but I got Nakatani winning for sure. I just don't see it. Nishida's good. I think Nishida might be the other two champs. I don't think he's beating Nakatani. I think Nakatani only loses right now to either like a Bam moving up to fight him or either Inoue right now. I think Nakatani might mess around and beat everybody at 122 except Naoya Inoue. You know what I mean? I think he's that good. All right, let's talk about Keyshawn. Yo, oh man, I'm very disappointed in Keyshawn. I'm very disappointed, but more importantly, though, I'm disappointed in the fight game right now. Overall, I am. As a boxing fan, it seems like with time I'm turning away from more stuff than I'm just not happy with a lot of stuff that's going on right now. And this is one of the major things because I feel like this is about to be it's happening to off this weight planning to come in overweight thing. It's happening a little too often, and there's no true penalty of it. There's no true penalty of it. If you just say, well, I'm moving up, I'm going to get stripped, I'm moving up, it's finally, this is not the way you move up. You don't move up like that. You don't decide, I'm just going to just not even try to make weight, get stripped, and then tell the world, well, yeah, I outgrown the weight, I'm moving up next fight. When your opponent has trained and cut weight, prepared and cut weight, to make sure it's a fair fight. He's fighting for a title because you don't care for the title anymore because you already won it. You don't even care to defend it. All right? That's not professional. I don't care what these guys say. I'm just moving up. I'm moving. I can't do the weight no more. Dude, you didn't even try to make the weight. You don't come in and make weight for the championship fight, last fight. Look as big, as healthy, and as strong as you did. And say a few months later, I just can't make the weight no more. I'm 4.3 pounds over. This is even more than Ryan Garcia against Devin Haney. Like, what are we doing? I'm telling you guys, people are going to look at this and they're going to do it because these guys don't care about the title. They don't care. I want it. I'm moving on to another division. There's no way, unless you are family of Keyshawn Davis, or if you are part of his camp, that anyone can defend this. You can't defend this. And I'm a huge fan of Keyshawn Davis. He seemed to be like so level-headed to me. And we all make mistakes, but you are preparing to have a huge advantage over your opponent. Because your opponent doesn't know that you're not going to just... Your opponent doesn't know that you're preparing to come in blown up. That's not what you agree on. Now, for Lemos to do that to him just last year, he just did it to him. I think he was like 7 pounds overweight. And for you to turn around and do the exact same thing, bro, as the champion, you're not even a contender. You're the champion, bro. As a champion, you have to have a little bit more respect for your craft. As a champion, have a little bit more class, bro. What are you doing? What are you doing? And then the problem is too, is like he's so nonchalant about it. He's just like, well, I decided I'm not, I'm gonna have to move up. It's time to move up. It's time to move up. When did you decide that? Hey, you know what you would have been better off doing? Winning the title, right? Winning the title and just going up to 140. Because you're not going to fight Shakur. I don't know if y'all like beefing or not. I don't know what's going on because I know there was some kind of tweet from Keyshawn about Shakur and Richard Hitchison. I don't know if there's some issues going on with them, but at the end of the day, you guys never plan on fighting each other, right? And you've been bigger than Shakur. Tank is caught up in his mess. Tank has no interest in fighting Keyshawn, right? And who's the other champion at 135? Lomachenko is just retired, right? He just retired. Right? He announced it, yesterday or the day before? I'm going to make a video on that. I was going to talk about it in this live, but I'll talk more. I'll just do a retirement video for Lomachenko because I have a lot to say about that. I do want to talk about him and his career and stuff like that. But I'm very, very disappointed in Keyshawn because it's just like now you have this guy, Edwin De Los Santos, who's been out the ring for 19 months. That's not Keyshawn's fault that he's been inactive. But this is the guy you chose to fight next, right? This guy gave Shakur Stevenson a tough fight, somewhat, like there was really very little engagement in that fight. But Shakur won the fight. It was the most boring fight of the year back in 2023. This guy, Edwin, is out for 19 months, said he had some swelling in his leg, you know what I mean? Some inflammation in his leg or something like that. But is able to get off the couch, make weight. I seen Edwin at the weigh-in. I honestly don't think he looked as shredded as he did against Shakur. He was able to make the weight, but I don't think he looked impressive at the weigh-in. I do think that Edwin, like I said in the breakdown, is the quicker fighter. Like I think he has the faster hands. We know he can pop. So I think he's capable of hurting anyone at that division. But regardless of what you're being compensated because of this overweight thing, and I'm sure there's going to be some sort of bonus out of Keyshawn's purse to make up for the fact that he came in for almost 4.5 pounds over. You're in a situation now where it's like, okay, but I'm now not only fighting a guy that's naturally bigger than me, 19 months out the game, but now that I'm fighting a guy that has that's basically he's a super lightweight, right? Because 139.3 is the exact kind of weight that most guys at 140 is going to come in at the weight. So now you are draining yourself to make 135 after sitting out for 19 months to fight a guy that's already naturally bigger than you, but now he's even just, and that makes me wonder, like, did Keyshawn do this because is he feeling threatened by Edwin De Los Santos? What's the reasoning behind doing it? That's the question I want to know. You know what I mean? You're way overweight. Let me just get this message real quick. Mr. Classic Metal, thank you for donating. He said he should have dropped the belt and then moved up. He was ripped to the bone, nothing more to burn off. And he must have known. It's unprofessional. Absolutely. That's exactly what I said earlier. That's exactly what I said. Oh, just drop the belt. You won the title. Just say, you know what? I wanted to win. You know what? We know what would have been cool? Yo, I was already at 135. I wanted to at least win one title here. and I wanted to move up. You know, there's no real fights for me here. Loma was tied up. Um, you know, Shakur is my bro. I'm not gonna fight him. Tank is tied up with Lamont Roach. There's really nothing for me to do here. There's not really many fights available for me. You know what I mean? Why agree to fight this guy and not even try to make weight? You know what I mean? You don't you don't come in 4 pounds overweight and say you try to make it. A cruiserweight being 204.3 doesn't even seem like or a cruiserweight or even a light heavy. If a light heavyweight weighed in at 179.3, 179.3, that's dramatic. So a lightweight wearing 139.3 is ridiculous. This is like over the top. This is enough weight to cancel a fight. This is something that would cancel a fight. But what is Edwin going to do? This is not a mandatory fight for him. He's been out the game. This is probably going to be his biggest purse, if not, you know, or at least his core fight. I don't know what his purse was for this fight and that fight. But this is a golden opportunity to get another title shot back to back. So he's looking at it like, you know, damn, like the odds are super against me now, but I got to go for it. At least I know that this guy is going to actually fight with me. So he knows he has power. He knows he has speed. Edwin still has a chance, in my opinion. I'm not picking him to win. I'm picking Keyshawn. You guys saw my breakdown. I saw there was a lot of comments on my breakdown. There's a lot of people picking Edwin to win. And I feel them. I think he's the most dangerous fighter that Keyshawn has faced. And I thought he was the most dangerous fighter that Shakur Stevenson faced. You know what I mean? He's a very good fighter. He is. But I got Keyshawn winning. But it kind of takes away from the win a little bit. It does. If Keyshawn wins, it takes away from the win. Just like it did for Ryan Garcia. Now, if he doesn't pop on anything, you know, obviously it's not going to be like a no contest or anything like that, but it took away from the win because you had an advantage and you planned it. And that's another thing that people are talking about. I just saw the video and picture with him with Floyd. Did Floyd say this? I saw an interview the other day where he was talking about, yo, he called Floyd. He was in Vegas, I guess, and he asked him if he could come to the gym. And that's when he came to the gym. Did Floyd tell him to do this? I don't know. I'm not going to blame it on Floyd. Floyd is his own man. Keyshawn, his own man. He'll have to listen to whatever Floyd tell him to do. But at the end of the day, like, bro, you planned this. This is not a slip. Like, oh, you cutting weight and you just couldn't cut it. Nah, you planned this. And did you plan it? Did you plan it because you don't feel confident in beating him fair and square? And when I say fair is, I don't mean, like, I know a lot of people say, oh, he's a weight bully. Yeah, there's a lot of guys at the divisions that are bigger than other fighters. You know what I mean? You could say that about everybody as they move up too. This is his first division. So yes, he's bigger than everybody there. Abdullah Mason is bigger. Yeah, he's bigger than a lot of these guys are bigger. You know what I mean? Lomachenko, who I'm going to bring up, you can make an argument that Lomachenko's a weight bully at 126. People were saying that back then. You know what I mean? Everybody's a weight bully, especially if you're pulling guys from smaller divisions up to fight you. But at the end of the day, if you're making weight, there's not much I can say. It's not much I can say because you're making weight. You know what I mean? You're being a professional. You cutting down. And there's a risk that comes with that because you may be weaker. Your punch resistance might not be as good. Your punching power might not be as strong. So there could be a disadvantage by making yourself drain yourself to be awake. But you can't tell me 4.5 pounds, 4.5 pounds. I'm not. Christina Poncher from Top Rank asked him, what you gonna do? Are you gonna try to make the weight? He's like, nah, I decided I'm moving up. Oh, word? Oh, you're gonna decide at night, you're gonna decide the day before your fight that you moving up? Did Edwin know that? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? You know, it's funny because when this broke out, I went to Gustavo Lemos' box rec to see if he had a fight since getting knocked out by Keyshawn. By the way, that fight was just in November. So Keyshawn has been super busy because he fought Lemos. He fought Medueno in July. He fought Lemos in November. He fought Berenchik, won the title in February, right? February 14th, Valentine's Day. And now he's fighting Edwin in June. So he has a great schedule. You can't tell me you just made those 3 weights easy and then now you're making this 4 pounds over. Come on, yo. What are we doing? You just fought. You just had 3 fights within the year. You know, you had 4 fights in 2024. And you had 4 fights. I mean, you had 3 fights in 11 months. This is your 4th fight in 11 months. You got to tell me now you're 4 pounds over. I can't make it. I think he's a little worried about Edwin De Los Santos. Nah. I think he's a little bit worried. I could be wrong, but I think he's a little bit concerned about who he's fighting. As he should be, because that's not an easy fight to take. It's not an easy fight to take. You know? So yeah, I am a little disappointed in him. No, I'm very disappointed in him. And we don't want this to become a norm, the new norm. We don't want that to happen. You know, we don't want people to just be like planning their move up by, you know, getting stripped from the title and then moving up. Like, I think Shakur did it with the Brazilian guy, right? Shakur did the same thing. You know, he wasn't nearly as blown up, but he came in overweight. You know what I mean? He fought Seisao. He was 131 and a half at the 130 late. I mean, like, that's bad. It's bad because it was just this new, hey, I'm moving up. He did that shit. Now, it's not nearly as dramatic as this, but when you go at the weigh-in and you're telling the world in the interview, like, nah, I'm just moving up. This will be my last fight at 130. All right, so why did you agree to that? You know what I mean? If you can't make weight, if you're struggling to make weight, you know, like, don't have your opponent keep cutting down so you can have a strength, you know, an advantage over him. I don't like it. So I am very disappointed in him. And I didn't even bring this up. Why are you calling out Abdullah Mason? Why are you calling him out? Because it looked like he punked Abdullah Mason. Mason's standing right next to him. And he's like, yo, you calling me out? You calling me out? This, that, and the third. We could fight next. Oh, it sounded good at the press conference. It really did. It sounded good at the moment. But, bro, you already know you're not going to make it. At this point, you already know you're not making 135. You already knew he wasn't making. Why are you going to agree to fight him next? You're not going to fight him next. We all know you're not going to fight him next. First of all, I think it's too soon for Mason. Second of all, you can't even make 135 no more. So how you going to punk him like that and then come in the next day 4.5 pounds over? That's crazy, bro. Like, what are we doing, yo? Oh, man. Oh, man. Like, come on, Keyshawn. You know what I mean? I don't care. Like, somebody mentioned something about him doing a really chatty. He's been very chatty lately. He's been chatty. You know, I don't mind fighters being chatty. I don't mind fighters talking trash because yo, do whatever you got to do to get hype behind you. You know, I say this all the time. I say this about Devin Haney. Yo, just adapt the villain role. You know, at the end of the day, do it. You know, Floyd Mayweather did it. Floyd Mayweather knew exactly what to do. Before social media was popping, Floyd knew how to trigger people. He knew exactly what he did. He knew the fan base. He knew picking and fighting certain people, what was going to draw the attention. And you're fighting Mexican fighters or Latino fighters on Mexican holidays every year. You're just taking up the dates to beat them up. People can't stop talking about him, even now, and he's been retired. Devin Haney should do the same. Keyshawn should do the same. But the difference is, Keyshawn, you just did something that is considered cheating because you planned it. You cheated. You ain't just missed weight. You're not 0.3, 0.6 pounds overweight. Bro, you in a whole different division. You're in a different division right now without your opponent knowing. You didn't agree to that. Another thing is, too, when it comes to champions, right? We can all just go to BoxRec and see, oh, you won the championships in 3 or 4 different divisions and stuff like that. No, you got to know the details. You got to know the details. Branchik came out of nowhere, right? Because I know they try to hype him up last minute because he was on the team with Lomachenko and Lomachenko and Volsdik and Usyk, right? They're all in the Olympics together, yada, yada, yada. Who's covering Branchik's fights all these years as a pro? No one. Let's be real. Let's be honest. What did Branchik do? He beat Navarrete, who just got up to 135, testing the waters. He had an awkward style. His style just matched up well with Emmanuel Navarrete. Navarrete has an awkward style. Branchik actually, his style was just, it worked for him. It was a great style to have against someone as awkward as Navarrete, and he won. Much credit. But as far as 135 guys, those weren't the top 2 135 guys. So when Keyshawn beat him, and I'm talking about Branchik, he destroyed him. Huge and just better, in every way imaginable. Yeah, Branchik is from the Ukraine. Yes, he was an Olympian, but as a pro, where was he all this time? Where was he? Where was he? He was nowhere. He wasn't one of those top dudes at 135 that we were talking about, like these guys need to fight. No, he picked up the title. He wasn't going to fight Loma. Keyshawn destroyed him. But to win that title and not defend it once, it's kind of whack. It is. You didn't defend it once, not one time. It just looks like this I don't know. And the thing is, he's surrounded by people that's all about legacy. Crawford, Shakur, even. I just seen him do an interview with Andre Ward. You around people, you know, Bomac is your coach. You are around people that's about legacy. So for you to do that, it kind of threw me off a little bit. Like, damn, bro. I'm not sure if he's feeling confident in himself about this fight tomorrow. I still think he's going to win, but I think he felt like he needed some sort of advantage. And maybe he was struggling with the weight, but to not even try and you just completely stop even trying to make weight makes it planned. It does. Excuse me. So I'm kind of disappointed. What are you guys saying? Kufu, what's up? He says no, the fight was at 135. Look it up. I don't know if he's talking to me. Alan says it's funny that Keyshawn wasn't the biggest weight miss today. Some chick in the UFC came in 6 hours over. What weight was she fighting at? That's kind of big, but I mean, people are normalizing it right now. Yeah. So Jill says Crawford is the only legit American fighter right now. All right. So I'm glad you just said that because I was going to say this point earlier. All this American fighter talk is getting on my nerves. But there's moments like this, there's weeks like this that I can't defend it. I can't defend it. I can't defend this shit. Because everybody's talking American fighters this, American fighters that. I can't defend it. Fimo Lopez has turned down $11 million. He just turned down $11 million to fight Devin Haney. Just turned it down, just like that. Yo, I come on here. You guys were here. I came on here and recorded a whole video. At the same time recording, Devin Haney is on Twitter telling the world that this guy didn't sign a contract and the fight is off. $11 million to fight Devin Haney? What? Yes, the American ones are the worst. I can't defend them. I want to because I'm from America. I'm biased for my fighters from over here, especially from New York. But I can't defend them. It's always some bullshit going on. Always. It's always something. It's always something. I don't know. But as far as the fight, I'm still picking Keyshawn. You know, I think Edwin is extremely dangerous. I said earlier, if Keyshawn wins a fight, I'm not saying that the fight doesn't mean anything. It still would be his best win in my eyes. You know, I know Edwin is not a champion, or hasn't been a champion yet. I know he has 2 recorded losses on his record. I know he's coming off the couch right now. He hasn't fought in 19 months. But I mean, goddamn, at this point, the fight is not as good as a win as it could have been because you literally have fought. This will be your 5th fight since his last fight. And you weigh in a whole division heavier. A whole division. I'm not even going to say 4.5 pounds or more. You are fighting at light welterweight. While the man came in at 134 today. Like, so you're fighting a guy that we all agree is dangerous, right? We know he's dangerous, but he ain't fighting 19 months. And you felt the need to weigh a whole weight class over him. That's too much, bro. Like, you can't lose to this guy. Yeah. Losing to Edwin De Los Santos tomorrow it's a bad loss. It's a really bad loss, bro. It's a bad loss, bro. And you know me, I don't crush guys for losing. You know what I mean? If they lose, it depends on how they lose. You know what I mean? If you lose, it's okay. Like, we can bounce back from these losses. And if he does lose, he can bounce back too. But it's just way too many advantages that's going in your favor. And you know, when I was watching that weigh-in, you know, the people in the crowd, they weren't happy when they heard the weight. It got real quiet when the weight, and You know, this fight is in Norfolk. Like they wasn't feeling that. You know, I really hope for his sake he wins tomorrow, because if he doesn't win tomorrow, he ain't gonna hear the end of it. You know, and then it's just not gonna be a good look, man. Especially when you know what I mean? Like it's too many advantages going into this fight, especially because it's your toughest fight, at least in my eyes, a lot of our eyes. Alan says, you think Floyd is giving young fighters bad advice? Keyshawn, Garcia, Carmel have missed weight after getting advice from him. It's a possibility, you know. I wouldn't call it bad advice, because this advice is advice that's giving his fighters, or you know, the people that he's looking out for. It's he's coaching them to have an advantage, but that's not the right way to do it, you know, because Floyd didn't have to do that, you know. And this is what I mean about, like, I love Floyd, bro. I love Floyd Mayweather, man. Like, I watch Floyd when I'm bored, and I just watch. I love Floyd. I love Oscar. I love Oscar De La Hoya as a fighter. Loved Oscar, but when it comes to the business, when it comes to the promoter side, I'm not too much a fan of neither one of them. You know, I'm not. I understand that both of them have given fighters plenty of opportunities. You know, Oscar, what he did for Canelo, Floyd, what he did for guys like Tank and other fighters, he's given a lot of people opportunities. You know what I mean? And I respect that. Um, but I don't want to put everything on Floyd, because I don't know if he was in his ear. I don't know if Keyshawn and his team decided to do this on their own. But Floyd didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? Oscar didn't have to do that. You know, regardless of you guys think Gift wins, I can't blame on the fighter. You know, I can't blame Gift wins on fighter. So if you think Floyd got a gift, or Oscar got a gift, or whatever got a gift, that's different. But when you decide as a fighter that you're not even going to try to make weight at all because you don't care for the belt anymore, it's just not professional, man. It's just not. But who cares? You know what I mean? Like, I guess no one really cares. It's pay the tab, you know, the extra money that's going to go to Edwin, and just keep it moving. Yeah, I'm not feeling it, man. And I think Keyshawn's gonna knock him out. You know what I mean? Like, Keyshawn's gonna knock him out, and that's what my money's already on. It's on, you know. I'm disappointed in him, but you know, it is what it is. Nick says, I wonder if Keyshawn got rocked this bar and he felt the weight would help him take a shot. I don't know. I think he's just Keyshawn fighting someone that got a big punch, and it's got quick hands. So we'll see. He said, Lorena says, and that dude is the Ring magazine ambassador. Embarrass herself. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Oh, hi, the one boxer. What's up, man? He said Floyd never missed weight, nor did Pac-Man. Nope. Then he says, it's not fair, man. Boxing's not heading in a good direction. Nah, I think a lot of people, it's crazy, man, because I don't want to go that far on saying that, but what I will say is that, you know, all the money that's going around right now, I think people got a little too privileged a little bit. You know what I mean? I think people is just expecting a super bag, and the performances are not matching the bag that they're getting. You know, I think people are getting super entitled, and you know, I know there was people out here that was speaking on that. I know I heard Tim Bradley talking about that. He was on, I forgot whose podcast son Bradley joined, but I was listening to a little bit of it, and he was just saying, like, the fighters are getting too entitled. Like, they're getting these bags, but they're not really fighting. You know what I mean? They're not really putting on a performance to match the bag they're getting. And I agree with that, you know. But now you got people that they're not even trying to make weight. You know what I mean? And it's just a bad look. It's a black eye for the sport right now. It is, because it's not going to be the last one. I think we're going to see it a little bit more often. I mean, we've seen it in the past. It's not a thing that's never existed, but we're seeing it a little too often. And once it starts happening, every couple of months or so, especially with guys that are contenders or up and coming guys or champions, it's like, damn, bro, like they really don't have nothing to lose. They have all the gain, because you're not going to get suspended. And a lot of these fighters, like Edwin De Los Santos, or like the president Conceição, you know what I'm saying? They either want the title or they want the bag. Like Devin Haney was like, all right, pay me an extra $1 million. We could get a shaking still. You know what I mean? But was it really worth it at the end of the day? There needs to be some kind of penalty, because we don't want people just violating the weight rules like this as often as it's starting to happen now. Boxing Gyms, what's up, bro? What's good? That's my guy right there. Shout out to Boxing Gyms. I know you guys already following him. Make sure you follow my boy. Oh, Boxing Gym, thank you for the donation. He said, yo, it ain't happening. It ain't happening, ring, bro. Abdullah is the main event. Yeah, I mean, I think his fight is a good fight, but I'm expecting him to get the knockout now. I think Nakatani at one point might have been a problem, but I think Abdullah is fighting him at the right time. But like I was saying earlier in the video, I like Abdullah because I think he's very, very humble, and when Shakur, I'm sorry, when this guy Keyshawn said what he said to him about fighting him, I don't think Abdullah is scared of him. I just think that I don't think Abdullah is a talker. You know what I mean? I don't think he's fearful of him. I think sometimes like some guys are just not talkers. Wait, what? The fight is off? Nah. Are you serious? Nah, bro. Are you serious? Wait, nah. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Yo. Hold, hold on. Hold on. I mean, is the fight off? Are they gonna replace Edwin? Like, give me something, bro, because I don't see nothing right now. I don't see anything right now. Oh man, I don't see anything right now. I don't see anything right here. Oh, okay. All right. I mean, he said, he said he got a text. I mean, I'm gonna tell you like this. If this is true, I'm mad as a boxer fan, but can you blame Edwin? If this is true. You know what I mean? Like as many times as fights got canceled because guys came in overweight, right? Would you be mad at Edwin for pulling out of the fight? I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be. I'll be mad at the situation. I'll be mad at Keyshawn, but I'm not gonna be mad at Edwin if he decided to pull out of the fight. Because he's like, nah, this guy's overweight. Maybe something happened with the money. I don't know. I'm not gonna blame Edwin though, if it is true. You know what I'm saying? All right, hold on. Okay. Okay. Yeah, the source is legit. I ain't gonna tell y'all the source, but yeah, the source is legit. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, bro. All right, y'all. The fight is off. Shit. What am I doing on here still? Nah, that's a legitimate. That's a legit. I know exactly who that is. That's a legitimate source, y'all. Yeah. So, yeah. I guess the fight. I guess we'll all be finding out soon. That is all. Um, but yeah, I can't get mad at Edwin. I can't wait till the details come out. On why. But I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Damn, bro. Damn. All right. All right. All right. Look, let me just say this. Yo, damn. I'm gonna say this right now. This needs to happen. You know why? It needed to happen because we don't want these fighters to just start coming in here overweight. You know what I mean? Not even trying to make weight, paying their purse out of it. We don't want to normalize this. This makes Keyshawn look bad because it happened in your hometown, right? So you get stripped. It happened in your whole town. So now your two brothers, big three or whatever. Now we know that you can't just go around doing this weight stuff, being a weight bully, and not paying the price for it. This is accountability. Take accountability. Don't get mad at anyone. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. Yeah, don't get mad. The weight is there. The weight classes are there. We have restrictions, man. You can't just go around just showing up, weighing whatever you want to weigh. You can't do that. This needed to happen. And as much as I would love to be covering this fight tomorrow, and I'm gonna still be on here, it's all good. We gonna have fun tomorrow. We gonna do what we gonna do, like we normally do every weekend, or not every weekend, because I'll be on my bullshit sometimes. I won't be on here, but we're gonna still do what we do. But at the end of the day, this needed to happen. This needed to happen, and I believe it because that source is a real source. This needed to happen. All right. So listen, it's still a good card. I still love the Davis brothers, all three of them. I hope they, well, the other two hope. Kelvin got a tough fight. Kelvin is the I believe the oldest one. Kelvin has a tough fight. You got Troy Isley on there. You got Mason on there. You know what I mean? You still got good fighters that I want to see. I think Tiger Johnson's on there. We still will be here covering the fight. We still will be here covering the fight. You know what I'm saying? And just having fun tomorrow. But at the end of the day, it needed to happen, and I'm glad it happened, and I needed to happen again because we don't want to normalize this. It needs to happen again on a fight where there's a name involved. We don't want to normalize this. We want fighters to feel they wanted the backlash of coming in overweight like that. We want fighters, even if we like them, we love them. Keyshawn, one of my favorite fighters, up and coming fighters to watch right now. But this stands for him. When I was making videos about Ryan Garcia doing that last year, I was on his ass about it. Pause. I was on him about it. So we're gonna be on We're gonna be on it with limos. We're gonna be on it with Keyshawn. We're gonna be on it with Zerto Ramirez, right? Because Zerto Ramirez gave us auto. He came in 7-8 pounds over. We're gonna do it for every single fighter that's gonna show up with whatever random weight they want to be at. For title fights too? Nah. Come on, man. Stop playing. We're not, that will never be okay. And Keyshawn needs to hear that from not just us that's on social media or whatever that's making content. He needs to hear from his peoples as well. That's the only way you can become better. Because everybody does things, right? People are caught cheating, failed drug tests, yada yada. You know what I mean? We can move past it. But if you continue to get rewarded by coming in with a clear advantage, when you already have the advantage of fighting, you had 5 fights since his last fight. How many more advantages do you need over this guy? Guy's coming off of a loss, 19-month layoff, and you're a whole division heavier than him? Like, how much more do you need? And you're going to still get the bag and headline a fight in your hometown? We know if the fight is close and it goes to point and the fight is close, you would get the decision. It's in your hometown. How many more advantages do you need? We're not going to normalize that. David says, I feel bad for the fans, though. I mean, he got to feel bad for the fans. Does he feel bad for the fans? I didn't hear him apologize. He up there talking about, I'm not even going to try to make it. I tried to make it last night. I'm not doing it. Nah, does he feel bad for the fans? Does he feel bad for the people that paid their money to go out there and see him? If this fight was a pay-per-view today, I would have paid for it. I would have supported him. Even if it was just, $30. I would have paid for it. I would have paid for him. I would have paid for the fight to go see it. You know what I mean? Like, he got to give that love back to us. He can't just, we can't keep having fighters just move like that. Box Jim says exactly what I said. Fighters never cancel for this. It's usually sanctioned bodies if it's about weight. So the only way it stops if fighters cancel. Here you go. Yeah, I mean, we got to be, Lamar, we got to be real. It's the only way these guys are going to get better. We have to be honest. We have to be real. We have to be real. And the difference between here and a lot of other places is that people pick and choose depending on who they are, what they look like, what they're from. We're not doing that here. We got to hold everybody accountable the same way. It doesn't matter what they look like. We're not doing all that. You know what I mean? We're not going to do all that. Keyshawn needs to be held accountable. This is not okay. This will never be okay from anyone. And that's it. Hopefully he learned from it, and that's it. We still gotta have fun tomorrow. Like, at the end of the day, I'm gonna come on early, a little early for the Fabio Wardley fight. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do that live, and then we have a couple hours, and then we'll jump on. We'll do the top rank card, and that's it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still boxing. And they already took a little hype out of the fight anyway over the weight thing. They already took a little bit of the excitement out of it. So now that we're not getting it, actually, I'm happy that we're not getting it. I'm happy because I don't want it to happen that way. And I want more fighters. Edwin will get another opportunity. You know what I mean? Edwin will get another opportunity. Let him get in the ring with someone. Someone's going to fight him. Let him get another opportunity to prove himself. And even if it takes longer, maybe it'll take a couple good 2 or 3 fights, he'll get another opportunity if he keeps working. He'll get another opportunity. You don't have to be desperate. So I don't know if it was him. I don't know if the sanction bodies, whatever, but we'll find out more when it all comes out. But if it does go on, because this has happened before. So what I will say, shout out to Brian. He just dropped the news or whatever, hit me up on my phone. But if in another few hours, this gets overturned and this fight does go on, or whatever's going on behind the scenes, if they find a way to make this work and make everybody happy, um, I actually believe they shouldn't let the fight happen. I think I would be I don't want the fight to happen because I don't want him to get rewarded for something like this. This is not right. Maul says, Boxingwave, do you think Edwin De Los Santos looked weak and dehydrated? Yeah, I tweeted that. I didn't say weak and dehydrated. I said I don't think he looked as shredded as he did in Shakur Stevenson weigh-in. You know, I mean, he made the weight, but I didn't see the confidence. And he didn't look that strong to me. You know what I mean? He didn't look that strong. You know, and it's like, again, like I said, it's bad enough he ain't fighting 19 months. So I kind of don't really want it to happen off the strength that I just want Keyshawn to learn this lesson. Now, I don't want just Keyshawn to learn this lesson. I want the world to learn their lessons. I don't want these guys to normalize this shit. This shit is corny. We don't want to keep doing this. You know? What's up, Aquia? Says, after that long layoff, I wouldn't fight him either. I mean, he got the phone call, so I ain't mad at him taking a fight. I'm just mad at the conditions where he's taking a fight, where the guy basically knew he was going to come in way heavier than you. You know what I'm saying? So it is. What's up, J Bean? He says it's another form of cheating. It is, bro. It is. You can't do that. You can't just do that. Yo, imagine Floyd fighting somebody and this dude just decides to come in like way heavier than him. Like, you agree on a weight and then the dude just gonna pop up. You think Floyd gonna let that fight happen? Hell no. Nah. It's not going down that way. It's not, man. I shouldn't even use Floyd for example. I could say somebody that's like, you know what I mean? Like top. Like, I know Keyshawn did it with Lemos, but I think Devin Haney made a mistake of doing it, but I think Devin Haney did it for a different reason. I think Devin Haney did it because he just thought he was way overconfident. You know what I'm saying? He was the favorite to win. I was overconfident. I was even like, yo, he's gonna beat him. It doesn't really matter. He's gonna beat Ryan. Especially Ryan was coming off who's that guy he fought? Duarte. I saw that fight with Duarte where Ryan was doing the crazy shoulder roll where he was turning his whole back to him. I was like, oh yeah, Devin ain't gonna beat him. You know, Devin ain't gonna beat him. Oh, you know, he got his jab. You know what I mean? I was like, nah, he's gonna definitely beat him. You know, even this guy comes in 3-weight, and I called the weight gain early because I was like, I said early in the week, I was like, yo, this dude look mad heavy. He don't look like he's trying to cut weight. I said that like early in the week. I still was overconfident, and Devin probably was too. He's like, yo, if I could get an extra $1 million for this guy coming in overweight, I'll take it. And that's a form of underestimating your opponent, which he did. I underestimated Ryan, but Devin and his team is not supposed to underestimate Ryan. Oh shit, you right. Floyd did do it. Floyd did do it. No, I was talking about Floyd having an opponent. The example I'm talking about the Floyd having an opponent that's just gonna pull up over like Lemos did to Keyshawn. I'm talking about that. No, Floyd did do it to Marquez. Yes, Floyd did do it. You're right. But I'm talking about the star letting, you know, the challenger just coming up and just blowing up and then continue to fight. You know what I mean? Jim says Floyd was coming off the 2-year layoff, though. That is true. And it was a catch weight. It was. But it was still an agreed upon weight. It doesn't make it's still bad. But I see what you're saying. I actually think this Keyshawn one is one of the worst. I think this Keyshawn one is probably even worse than Salido. You know, because Salido blew weight, but I think Salido's weight was probably like a pound and a half, maybe, or 2 against Lomachenko. I know Salido blew. Salido, who else blew weight? Salido was like let me look it up. Salido was like a pound or so over, but I know Salido on fight night was like 147. Right? Let's see. Salido at the weigh-in was 128 and a quarter. So he was 2 pounds and a quarter at the 126 weight limit. Carmel was crazy recently. I forgot what it was, but he was crazy. Zerto was crazy. They canceled that shit against Gabe Rosado. I mean, I love Gabe, but Gabe had no business fighting him at that time anyway. You know, that was a super, super, super cherry pick at the time. All right. So anyway, I mean, I guess we could just chill and wait to the news to come out. You know, I mean, I said everything I needed to say. I mean, if anything changes about this fight and it does go down again, you know, my pick is Keyshawn by stoppage. The other fights I threw all in a parlay with my Fabio Wardley pick. I put Fab Wardley by KO. What else? I put Keon straight up, Troy. I put Kelvin, but I should have left that one separate. I do them in a parlay too against Albright. I think that one should have just been his own pick because I'm not sure about that one. That one might end up being a draw too. I might throw that one on a draw. I might throw some money on a draw for that one. And then I put Mason on the money line too. But straight up. So I got like a little 5-leg parlay. The Keyshawn one is separate by KO. And I didn't put nothing down for Nakatani and Nishida because I got Nakatani winning, but I'm not sure if he's going to knock him out. See? Oh, everybody's saying it's official. See, Gems. Yo, I saw who texted. I was like, yeah, it's yo, Gems was like, yo, that shit dead. I'm gonna text you. I saw who it was. I was like, yep, it's official. Damn. Yo, the internet's gonna be crazy tonight, man. Damn. I might just do like a quick video. Nah, I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna let people come on here and see this. You'll talk more about it because we're gonna be alive tomorrow, like twice tomorrow. So I might do a video in the morning talking about it, if anything. All right, but everybody is letting me know now in the comments. I guess it's just not getting out. Damn, y'all. All right, look. We still on here tomorrow. Yo, please, if you haven't done it already, everybody just give me a thumbs up. Everybody that's here, all 87 of you, that's the rest of y'all is here. Please smash the like button for me. What do y'all think about that game yesterday before we get off? Did y'all see the game last night? Yo, I made a little money, man. Yo, in that third quarter, when when they cut it down to 6, I know OKC extended the lead in the fourth again, but at that point where the Pacers extended it to 6, I threw some money at a 7.5. And these guys came back and won. And they've done that each series in this playoffs. So I got plus 750 on that. So I made a little money on that game last night. The Pacers, man, ain't no joke. Yeah, but all right, I'll see you guys tomorrow, man. Shout out to Boxing Gyms for being the first to break the news. I don't know if he's put it anywhere else yet, but shout out to Boxing Gyms for coming through and blessing us with that news. And I'm glad the news went down that way. I don't think that's the right thing to do for guys like that. You know what I mean? I'm really, if anybody, I'm sad, not just with the fans, but I'm sad for Edwin De Los Santos, because now he just went 19 months without a fight, and now he has to wait until another opportunity presents itself. So if anybody, I feel bad for him first, because he's the one that had to train and prepare for that fight just to get canceled. You know what I mean? So if anything, I feel bad about him the most. Keyshawn, again, just a learning lesson. And this is a good message for any boxer that plans on coming in overweight in the future. Don't mess up that bag. You know what I mean? Don't mess up that opportunity. And, you don't mess up your reputation. It's just not worth it, in my opinion. All right. Yeah, Ralph, if they can get someone for Edwin, that would be cool. But I know Edwin is not their fighter, so I don't know how that's going to work out. All right. But to me, looking at that way in, Edwin didn't look, I think Edwin should save himself for a better opportunity, an opportunity where he has more time to train, for an opportunity to where he's fighting someone that's fighting at the agreed weight. He's already coming off of a loss. So why just being there? He was going to end up probably getting knocked out. I think he should definitely stay, a little bit in the gym and, stay fit enough to where, if he gets another phone call, he'll be ready for it, because that's the kind of thing that happens, especially at lightweight. A lot of mess happens at this division. So, and people are going to always want to fight him. I'm not going to say people are going to but people are going to want to fight him because Shakur fought him, and people didn't like Shakur's performance. So when I heard Keyshawn was going to fight him, I was like, Keyshawn probably wants to just look better against him, possibly stopping him, because Shakur, went the distance, and I guess he had an injury and all that moving around and stuff. This wasn't a good look. So I think Edwin will get a call from someone somewhere, All right. But I'm glad it's off. Yeah, I'm glad. But anyway, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for all the donations, and also smash that thumbs up on your way out. I will see you guys tomorrow. Y'all have a good night. Peace.